Hey everybody, welcome back. I got a surprise for you this time. It's my Swagger scooter. I'm kidding, it's not actually a Swagger scooter. Well, technically it is. This is actually an unbranded version of the Swagger scooter. For all intents and purposes, it is, well, the Swagger scooter. It simply doesn't have the name down here on the bottom and across the bar here on the front. But yeah, this thing actually works exactly like one. It's great, honestly. It's nice and light, it's portable, it's strong, and it does exactly what it's supposed to. So let's go over a couple of the features here real quick. Starting off here at the top, we have regenerative brake, which is either off or on, and it engages somewhere about halfway. And it works pretty well. It's actually very strong. It's stronger, actually, than the foot-activated brake back here. So, continuing on, you have your throttle here, and the more you push it, obviously, the faster you go. And there is an option for cruise control, which I've just turned on last night. I finally found it. And that means that after holding the throttle for 6 seconds, it will maintain the speed that you're going in whatever gear you're currently in by selecting up or down on the control panel here. Charging port is here with a little fairly tight waterproof cover. And a super overly bright headlight. So I'm going to turn off the light here real quick. So we go and turn it on, and all you do is you press this top button and you get light. Now I still have some light behind me, but yeah, this light is extremely bright. In fact, it's more than I can handle to look at directly. So yeah, be careful when you're using this at night. I did also find that as I'm standing on it, I seem to be, if I stand where it's comfortable and I look down, I have a little bit of that light glaring up in my eyes. It's just kind of at the wrong angle and it's a little bit annoying, but you know, it is what it is. So here we have odometer over here, miles per hour or kilometers per hour, your battery level, and this is your gear selector. So if I'm in idle, which is 0, first gear, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And there's nothing past fifth. With me at 196 pounds, this will top out at about 14 miles an hour on pretty much flat ground. If I have the throttle engaged and I'm going downhill, it still doesn't seem to want to go past about 16. But if I disengage the throttle, either I turn the throttle off, I turn the power off or something, I can generally reach about 18 or 19, possibly more, depends on how steep the hill is. But as soon as you engage the throttle, it wants to keep you going at the maximum pace. So it actually slows you down a little bit. Kind of like regenerative braking. So if you're going to be slowing down, I would suggest you use the regenerative brake to at least put some more power back into the battery, as minuscule as it is, rather than trying to use the throttle to slow you down. So we'll turn that off real quick. Okay. So moving on down here, we have the latch that allows you to open and close the scooter, and it actually works quite well. So basically, you take it and you pull it back. Let me kickstand up. You pull it back, and it folds down. Now, if you'll see here, there's a notch which will line up with the top of this piece right here. That simply means that when it's closed, it can't rotate. So in order to open it, you push down on the latch, pull up on the handle, and you just lift straight up, and it'll automatically go back. Now, there are no wires that run from the battery pack, which is in the stem, to the wheel. Nothing runs down here. It's all in the stem. which literally means you can take this wheel and you can go 360 degrees all day long and it won't care. And that's actually kind of nice. Moving on, we have, as I mentioned earlier, the kickstand, which is in and of itself not, awesome. I did find that depending on the surface, if it's an uneven road, that it may not stand up very well. It does kind of have a tendency to be top heavy because of the battery pack in the stem, but it does work. You also have grip tape all along the surface here, and this is some really strong grip tape. I mean, this stuff is stronger than I remember even being on skateboards 5 or 10 years ago. This stuff is great. You could have on, you could put lubricant on your shoe. Don't know why you'd have that, but you could do it. And you still would not slide around on this. Mud, snow, you could be underwater. Although I still also would not recommend that because these motors are not rated for that. But you could be underwater and you still wouldn't slide. Great stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. If we come on down here to the back, we have the foot-activated brake. And again, solid wheels, both front and back, with about 1/8 of an inch of tread on the wheels. Now, here's something I had a question about a while back, and I never could get a very straight answer for this, and I'm glad I got one. So, this piece of metal here is what stops the wheel. Well, it's supposed to. So, the more you push down, the more surface area there is between that metal, this curved metal piece here, and the wheel. If it's wet, it'll definitely not slow you down as much. Even if it's dry, I'll tell you, I've tried, this does not seem to slow you down very well. I actually found it more beneficial and actually faster stopping to use the regenerative brake to slow down the wheel to stop. I pushed down as hard as I could. I was practically standing on top of this with both feet, and I really wasn't slowing down enough that I felt comfortable using it. So, in my opinion, don't waste your time with the foot-activated brake. It'll also help save the wheel from extra rub, wear, and tear, but I would not use the foot-activated brake. It just doesn't seem to work well. As for the frame, it is a solid aluminum. It looks like an extruded piece that ended up getting cut. It's extremely solid, very light. There's nothing in it. It's all hollow in here all the way through in 3 cavities. So there's one on this side, the center, and then the opposite over here. It's great. So the other thing is if you get stuff in here, you may have to clean it out. So if you ride through mud or something, it'll probably come in right up in here. It'll get stuck inside, and eventually you'll want to clean this out. You could put a little silicone or put some expanding foam in the ends here just to keep it sealed. It's up to you. Now, another thing I wanted to point out here is that this front wheel, again being solid with about 1/8 of an inch of tread, has the wires coming out through these plastic pieces here. 2 screws here, 2 screws here, and you can get to the bolts that hold the wheel on as well as the wires, disconnect it, and take the wheel off. Which also allows you to start disassembling the stem if you want. Now, I'll show you something here in a second as to why this may be useful to you if you want to work on this or not. But 250 watt motor, sealed, I want to say IP56. I don't remember, I don't have the manual in front of me. But 250 watt motor seems to be pretty good. I'm pretty close to 200 pounds, I'm 196. And this little thing can actually take me uphill in 5th gear, I think at about 8 or 9 miles an hour, which is actually better than I thought it could do. Pretty powerful. So, what I wanted to show you is I'm going to take the handlebars and put them exactly perpendicular to the frame here. Now look over the front. Well, let me turn it around so the headlight's facing forward. Not like it makes a difference. Okay. And if you'll notice the wheel right down here is ever so slightly off. It points out at an angle like this. So if I had the wheel straight compared to the board, look how far off my handlebars are. Yeah. And if I want my handlebars to be straight because it feels right, now I'm constantly going left. So you just kind of have to mess around with it, and chances are you're not going to be able to stay in a straight line anyway. You'll be doing a little bit of moving around, so that's not a huge deal. The handlebars do come off. They are opposite thread. This one is standard thread, this one is opposite. And I found that after trying to drive it for, 2 or 3 blocks, that the handles would start to come loose. So I used thread locker on the threads and then threaded it in, let it wait 24 hours, and then continue to ride. And now they don't seem to want to come off, which is good because I don't plan on taking this apart. So, really, that's about it. That's all I got for this guy. There will be some more videos coming up as I get the time. I seem to be working far more than I probably should. I'll go over all of the settings for the heads-up display here, how to change options between miles per hour and kilometers per hour, how to set cruise control, odometer, stuff like that. But this guy's pretty much going to get a video all on his own. And yeah, so for all intents and purposes, I'm going to say this is a Swagtron Swagger scooter because, I mean, compare the two side by side. They are exactly the same. Tops out supposedly at about 16 miles an hour max in 5th gear. I can get about 14 as I'm close to 200 pounds. And you know what? Even with my weight, this thing runs like a champ. It doesn't care, it doesn't bog down. It's powerful, and it's extremely light. It's right about 15 pounds or so, maybe a little bit less. But yeah, this, in addition to my hoverboard, I actually think I'm starting to like this guy a little bit better. So there will be some more videos on this. I'll show you how it rides. I'll try to get a point of view camera and some other things. But until then, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.